To review and approve November 3rd, 2020 minutes.
Make a motion, we review and approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor? Review and approve November 17th, 2021. A motion?
Yeah, make a motion, we approve the warrant.
Second it?
As written.
Payroll one.
Yeah, payroll's on then.
Yeah.
Southern,
Salt prices have dropped.
It's a big price, one down. You get that through Southern Maine.
What's that?
It's a bid. The bid went down from last year.
Yeah, I see it did. The per ton basis is way down.
It's a different company too that got it.
Who got it this year, do you know?
Eastern got it. Morton was last year.
Could be the same players.
Morton didn't even bid on that, like,
But not enough competition. Like,
that's not.
Ben isn't here, so we've got someone counting tax assessors now.
We do. Rob, the assistant assessor. Ben, unfortunately, is out due to some emergency oral surgery, so I'm here in his stead.
Lucky you.
Yeah. He has given me some briefing notes, so hopefully we should be able to work through it just fine. The first thing I'd like to mention is that we have finished the homestead exemption mailers and sent them out, so we invite the public to get those into us by April 1st, 2021. You can either find them online or here at the town office. It's $25,000 off of the value of the property for assessment purposes. So if it's your primary residence, definitely something you want to look into. And so the next item is I've got a bunch of supplements, denials, and abatements.
Okay.
Start with the supplemental commitment. So this supplement is for, I believe, 2 tree growth penalties. Just pick this up here. There's 2 tree growth penalties, and those 2 are on map 3, lot 2E, and map 3, lot 2B. And there's a supplement for the building only on map 5, lot 14-1. Review there. If you have any questions on those, I'll do my best.
Is that anything that's in front of the planning board?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thanks.
One of these is Rise and Shine, Joe, just so you know. Rise and Shine.
Oh, yeah, okay. It was in front of the planning board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so the next 4 are denials, the first of which is for map 5, lot 8B. So this is for a demolished building, which was on site as of April 1st. It was, looks like we received proof of it as of July 16th. So it's still taxable in the town of Baldwin as of April 1st. lot one, lot two. Essentially, it, was assessed comparably to similar parcels, in similar locations, and was deemed, to be consistent with market value.
I know about this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is for map 827D. This one's actually related to an abatement that's further down the stack. Essentially, the taxpayer has contended that this particular lot didn't exist, which it does. There is record of it. However, we did have it in the wrong location, and so it's actually a portion of a lot that he owns. And so there's an abatement granted later on, or a recommendation to grant an abatement for the portion of that land that was deeded to essentially the son. So that parcel sits within the parcel that he owns. Last one is for map 11, lot 59, like the one before this one. It fell within, or was assessed comparably to similar properties and was, appears to be within, or consistent with market value.
Okay.
So this recommendation of abatement is for, map 5, lot 39, in which the depreciation was lowered, from average to fair upon inspection, and then a, unfinished basement was captured.
On this one here, he was talking to me, and you had this garage, commercial, but some of them wasn't. Other garages on the same road wasn't commercial. Did that get taken care of too?
Let me see. Yeah, I can see the paperwork. That's probably fine. Okay, so, best I can tell, when they're calling it garage/office, so a portion of it through CFTR is, it's a low commercial grade garage is what they're calling it, at least these ones in this photo right here.
Yeah.
On the other card, we do have a number of sheds, but it looks like there is no garage access.
So you think it's right, then, what do you think?
I have to admit, I am somewhat, I'll say ignorant of this particular case. Ben gave me a very quick explanation, but I have to admit I don't know. I assume he made these changes, whatever they may have been, in order to correct that, but I don't know. I can take it back to review with him if you'd like.
Do that?
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
should.
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you. Just check the date on that. Yeah, the only concern with that one is I believe, it was received on September 30th, and so the 60-day deadline is approaching. So I will, get Ben on that one and move from there. Okay, so, this recommendation is, it's almost comical, it's a 7-cent abatement. It's a corrective abatement. Ben had, made a typo on the original abatement from September 22nd on, map 11, lot 9-2. Essentially, he had transposed, some small numbers on the original assessment versus the new assessment. So this essentially makes that whole. It's, 7 cents of tax dollars, but recommendation is for map 2, lot 7-31A. The owner was able to demonstrate that the camper was moved off-site at Acres Wildlife prior to April 1st, 2020. This recommendation is for map 12, lot 13A. It is essentially an acreage correction. This recommendation is for map 6, lot 17, also a correction to acreage. This recommendation is for map 5, lot 5. This is an abatement to remove the building from the lot house built to the wrong lot.
that side, lot 5, whose house is that? There's one right across the street, that was supposed to be the house built on lot 5, but it was built on the wrong one. Actually, it's a new one being built down the road a little bit, so.
I believe that's the one, yes.
So, is it actually lot 5, or is it reassigned a lot number? Lot 5 is the one that's being built now down in the hollow.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm not sure.
Okay, and so just be aware to make sure it has the right lot number.
Okay.
Then I think you're
I've been knee deep in that one, so I'm sure he's aware.
Now, they never, it says here, remove building from the lot. They never did that.
So I have to admit, I'm not especially familiar with this particular instance, but there was a supplement.
The wrong house was on the wrong lot, it had to be flip-flopped.
Did they remove
So
the building
it's-
from the assessment?
Okay, so what I think I'm a little clear on this now. So the house was, because the house itself was owned by somebody else, the house portion, the building portion was abated and then supplemented as a building-only account. So I believe the map and lot on that supplement was for, I can't remember the exact, but it ends in ON, on account, which is essentially an account that is building-only. You typically find it with things like mobile homes where someone's renting the lot under the actual mobile home, but they own the home.
Yeah, right west, and there's a house across the street.
Okay, so this recommendation is for map 2, lot 7 Daisy over at Acres of Wildlife. Essentially, the owner of a camper was able to demonstrate the actual age of the camper by presenting the title, basically. So we've just made an adjustment to the depreciation documentation. So this last one is related to that denial that had come up before. Essentially, as I said, the owner of this, the applicant had transferred a portion of the parcel to his son, and so we just made a correction to the mother lot, if you will, as far as acreage. So that's for that 8 lot 27. This is a summary of the abatement log so far. It just outlines everything that has been abated so far for this tax year, excluding the one that will go back to them. So, at the bottom, we should have a total. That's just 3 copies.
That's a copy.
So the last thing I have is, I know there's some concern about, there's a mapping issue on map 10, lot 23, for the interest. Essentially, the tax map is incorrect. Basically, during our process of digitizing Baldwin's tax maps, as we moved from the ink and Mylar maps that were provided by the previous vendor to basically digital GIS versions. We started off with the GIS version of the tax maps that were provided to us by the main office of GIS, which unfortunately is quite old and out of date and not particularly accurate. And so over the last few years, we've gradually been improving it, both with reference to the older tax maps and surveys that we've been provided by taxpayers. Essentially, we omitted it from the map, or failed to get it drawn on there, but we will be placing it there on the next updated set of maps. I do have sheets right here actually that show where it is delineated on our maps and also the location on the original tax maps that were completed by John O'Donnell and Associates. Essentially, the acreages do match from the previous years. It's just a little funky because the parcel sits between 2 tax maps, and so it kind of gets cut off between the 2. But I do have here a map showing that on ours, the older maps with it delineated, and then the matching acreages that are also noted on the map. The old map and then in the future the new map, and then also the older property cards from previous assessor, and then in our current system as well. So it's for copies.
Okay.
Those are for us, or you need a couple?
So there's, depending on whether or not it's a denial, or abatement or supplement, we have 2 or 3 copies, one of which would be for us in certain cases, one for the taxpayer, one for you guys.
That's what I think he does when he gets all done with the computer and done.
Okay, so I'll just take them.
Yeah,
Bring them over here.
absolutely, yep. We must keep copies for you guys, right, when you leave?
Yeah, so, one of the reasons why we have multiple copies is that we take
take one for you,
one signed
yeah.
copy back for our records.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we leave one here, and then, for the abatements, 3 copies, so that we mail one out to the taxpayer.
Perfect.
Good. That's all I got.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want? All right, Bill me. All right, Mr. Sprague. He's gonna be our new EMA officer. I've known him for quite a while now, so, I think he's making an outstanding EMA officer. You said you went to school?
Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Owen Sprague. I grew up here in Baldwin. I actually just moved just over the line into Cornish, recently, but been on the fire department for about 8 years. I'm a career firefighter, and my background, college-wise, is in fire science and emergency management.
So, do I have a motion to nominate?
I'll make a motion to nominate him for the EMA.
All in favor?
And you, Danielle, some of the stuff that you're doing now, you can help him with and
I'm gonna
stuff.
transfer, yep, I've already told Margaret and a couple others, so we'll do the transfer over.
Okay.
Yep.
And a lot of the stuff now is done on the computer, it's, you know, you're probably familiar more about it than I am, so.
Yep.
Before, you had to go to meetings and everything.
Yep.
Our appointment is infinite until he gives it up for whatever, so there's
Retire?
no, yeah, there's no term on that one.
All right, you want to take this over to Deb, she can, swear at you? Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Sounds good. Thanks, Owen.
CMP LED light.
Yeah. Got that email from CMP, wanting to know if he was interested in changing over to LED. So I called the lady, talked to her, I talked to her, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes on the phone. And pretty much what it is we get a 15-year contract with CMP on the street lights in the town. We'll have to renew our contract for another 15 years, but they're gonna replace all the lights that we get in town for free, and all with LED packages. They should save us about 30% of our power that we're paying for now. I think last year we paid around $8,300 for power. So we'll take about 30% of that. Bad thing is, it could take up to a year and a half to 2 years to do, because they got some other towns that are doing it too, so.
I think, maybe worth it for us to get on the list.
Well, I think myself, I think it's a no-brainer.
Well, I understand on the, all the PowerPoints they had, they're, responsible for repairs, for this,
Yeah, everything. They take care of everything. Yeah.
And now, a few years ago, somebody was asking about switching over to LED lights. At that time, it was expensive to do, so I think we better jump on it.
But I'll call her maybe tomorrow, see if I can get the paperwork, because we're gonna have to sign a new contract.
Yeah.
And then just, we'll be in the process of starting.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be great.
Well, I think it'd be an update to a light.
Yeah, I know.
Now, I checked some of the lights that are out, and I'm going around and checking them again, and they still haven't fixed those yet.
They said it could take up to 30 days
Yeah.
for them to come out there. And they said, is there any major one? I said, one on 302 and, Route 5.
113 and Route 5.
113, I'm sorry.
302.
Well, the main thing is, we've
Yeah,
called,
that's bad, up there.
and we've identified 4 lights that are out and stuff, so
Yeah.
we've kind of done our part, just so
Yeah.
if it don't drag out, you know?
I did the form and then I called, so, and I talked to a live person, and he says, well, usually people just do the form. I said, we haven't fixed the lights yet. So, yeah, mid-December if they're not fixed, you know, night road,
So it's getting dark pretty early now and stuff, so.
yeah.
That one that, like you said, the one over on Depot Road is pretty dark over there.
Yeah.
We were there last night. Pretty bad. Yeah, I don't know, Gorham has done some. I could tell a difference going to work in the morning. which ones they did, and it's a lot brighter and there's a lot more light.
Well, look at it, the power packs that we put around the school and stuff, and we went all LED with those and stuff.
Yeah,
It's made a big difference.
it is, yeah. So I think, yeah, that's a great idea. Cumberland County Tax Assessor's contract expires next month. And so we're gonna be taking bids for new tax assessors.
I think we should put it out there at least.
Yeah.
It still might be, we'll have to put it out there and say.
Yeah, yeah, I think it'd be the right thing to do. So, follow the same steps you did the last time, because I wasn't here.
Okay.
Well, probably remember that.
Yep. Do you want me to reach out to any companies or just put it out there? I mean, we should probably communicate a little bit with these guys, but,
I put it MMA
yep,
and Fort Press Harold at least,
right,
and just see what we get for feelers and stuff. I mean, we didn't get nothing probably last time, but we got one. And it's, I mean, they've done a lot of work for us here in the last 3 years and stuff. You kinda get a little faith in them and stuff too.
Right, yeah. Probably shop at guy too, just to keep it local too.
okay.
We got this, carryover fire department money. Now, that was for their roof. I don't think we can do that.
I don't either.
I think we have to have a vote of the town to carry that money over.
I was voted for a specific reason,
Right, yeah,
not just to throw back into that budget.
right. I think, yeah. So either we're gonna have to spend it within a month, or over a month, or.
It's gonna be spent for the roof.
Right, for the roof, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want me to get back to Jason on that?
Yeah.
Or have Deb?
Tell them we can't roll it over, not let our town vote on it.
So basically go back to fund balance and then take it back out.
Yeah. We'd have to, we'd either brought up a town meeting or a special town meeting when we want it.
Okay.
New business, lot 10-24, town-owned land, landlocked. Somebody was asking if we inquiring about it.
He asked a while back and it kinda got dropped and I'm bringing it back up. Cause I told him I would get back to him, and it didn't really move. It's on off Douglas Hill Road, or it's landlocked, but in Douglas Hill vicinity, 56 acres. He logged it, or a portion of it, and he says it has been logged, and he asked if the town logged it, and I said, no, don't think so, but he says within the last 10 years it's been logged. I said, okay. And he asked if we had a survey, and I couldn't locate one, so I didn't know if you wanna kinda get into this a little bit. It's a landlocked piece of property and 56 acres worth of nothing for all, so. Get it back on the taxes
Yeah,
type thing.
I'm fine with it.
I think we ought to look into it at least.
Yeah.
Look into it, what's going on with it.
I don't think we ought to jump right now, but,
Right. But we just,
Do a little digging.
and as far as having a survey done, I mean, what I see with a lot of this stuff, they want it to go out to bid, they wanna get it for nothing.
He just asked if we had one, yeah.
Land is valuable regardless what it is now today and stuff, so.
Yeah, we can look into it.
Okay, that's it for that, and reminders, assessor hours Friday, November 20th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Joe, anything?
Yes, and I'm glad Gary came back, because I'm concerned. I drove down Washington Pond Road yesterday, and, Nature's Wilderness looks abandoned. The docks are still in the water, boats are kind of drawn up on the shore and unnaturally filled with water over the winter and freeze and thaw and break up and they'll just be pieces of plastic. I don't care what they do with their own stuff, that's their business. But having an abandoned piece of property in town that, you know, that's the place to go to build a meth lab and a nice building all ready for you, and teenagers, bonfires, and, you know, just all the attractive nuisance things that can happen to a property. So I'm glad maybe Gary could address this. Is it abandoned or what?
Meth labs, Joe, meth labs.
Well, I mean, I don't know, I'm a serious question.
Nope. There's nothing to worry about up there. Don't worry about it.
Okay, well, it does appear abandoned.
It's shut down. October 31st, we're told to shut down.
Okay.
What are we supposed to do? Have parades up there?
No, drain the pipes and take the boats out of the water.
It's done. There's one boat in the water. I'm waiting for a warm day to get it. That's my business, not yours.
Okay, then we just didn't know. We didn't know, we just
Well,
got
you
that.
can't. It's my boat.
Because if we've had property where teenagers have come and done bonfires.
There is no bonfires, there's nothing up there. We have surveillance
Not now.
cameras, that's our business.
But we're worried, we live in the woods, Gary, this is what we do. We live next to it.
We monitor what I do all the time.
It's not a
Well,
matter
stop,
of
just
monitoring.
stop.
We're showing concern for the public good. We're expressing.
My boat's public good?
The land usage is public good, yes.
So I'm still concerned.
Okay.
That's all.
Is it gonna be picked up even before winter time anyway? I mean,
Absolutely, yes.
I'm sure you're gonna be closing up, or you're always gonna be up there, aren't you?
I'm there every day.
Yeah, you're up there working, so, I mean, it must appear that, probably appears.
It's supposed to appear shut down.
Yeah.
It's supposed to appear abandoned. It's closed.
Right, right, but you're still up there working, and there's activity going on up there, so.
It's not 8 hours a day, but I'm up there
Right.
most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. Cause it would, I mean, if something is not tended to for quite a while, and then word gets out.
There's a lot of things not tended to in this town. There's a lot of junk cars in yards. There's a lot of stuff that
That's
people
not
don't
what I'm
worry
talking
about
about,
that,
yeah.
Joe.
I'm not talking about that, but
It's the same thing.
I
It's
mean-
one paddle boat that's over on the edge of the water.
word
It's
gets,
cold, so I'm waiting for a warm day.
word gets out that, I mean, if you have a piece of property that was cut off, and word gets out that, you know, the next thing you know, you got a keg party there, so I can understand.
That's what we have cameras for.
Yeah, okay, I mean, that's all I wanna know there.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey Kathy, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Good. You got anything tonight?
Just a really quick thing. Mary and I drove in my truck, thank goodness, down that road this morning as well. I don't know exactly what the bonding issue entailed, but have you driven down the road beyond the campground to the other side of Brown Road? Or tried to in something other than a four-wheel drive vehicle?
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Wasn't that the road that Gary was working on that he had to be bonded for?
Only up to his line.
So he was working on the road beyond that, and you can't, it's no longer passable. I've been here only 8 years, and I used to be able to drive that in my little Saab.
I mean, you can get a fire truck up through there and stuff like that. It's good enough so you can do that. But
If
it
you had
isn't-
four-wheel drive, or you took a huge...
Yeah, a car, you're going to get up through there with a car.
No, I could put the truck in four-wheel.
Yeah, the ledges and stuff are pretty,
Yeah, but it never used to be like that. And it's a town road, and I guess that's my concern, and I wasn't even going to bring it up, except that Gary's so defensive that maybe that's something else that he tore apart that could be fixed that does belong to the town. Just saying.
we've been over that. Dwight, did you and I go up there and look at that property, the road that she's
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
Did I touch that part of the road?
no. A lot of that, way up on the top of the hill
Mm-hmm.
is done by erosion, and we haven't graded it or anything, because we're right down to the rocks.
Brian was up there today and graded from Marston Road up beyond the campground to the pond.
He told me, I see him up front the other day, he said he's gonna do some rock breaking and stuff.
I was just gonna say that, it seems like it happened after they cut off up there and the erosion rain.
That's all ledge there.
Yeah, it's all there, yeah, I mean, it was.
And the edges of the road are pretty bad too, and stuff like, there's a lot of rock.
And all I'm saying is that I could drive it in a car just a couple of years ago, and I can no longer do that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
We'd love to have the town fix it. If you wanna fix the town road, you want us to do that, it'd be awesome. Everybody's concerned about it, we ought to fix that road.
I think in the conditional use permit, that portion of the road was dedicated more for emergency exit or emergency vehicles get down. It was not meant to be improved for general traffic.
True.
Anything else?
No, it's a pleasure to see you guys, so.
Yeah. You too. Glenn, you got anything?
No,
that's it. Taking it all in, huh? Mr. Flint, you got something?
Yeah, the budget committee.
Yeah.
You've had 3 meetings, and I think we've gone about as far as we can go at this point without some data.
Yeah.
And,
Information.
of course, what would be very helpful would be, at least some basics from the auditor's report, but you might not get that real soon. The other thing would be, a download from Trio and broken out by, articles as to what you spent this year. And I know that's what you've used in the past. But again, I think you have to wait till the end of the year to get a closeout picture.
We're this close now, with what, 2.5 months.
Yeah.
So we're into the third quarter anyway, so.
Yeah.
But you guys are coming up with some interesting stuff?
Well, we have, I mean, we've looked at the basics of what the movers are in the budget, what the big items are, and what's important, but.
I see his emails, scared me right to death when I read it, on the school budget and stuff. You know, here we are, we're a little small town, and we're looking at maybe a 10% increase in the school budget. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, how?
That was pure speculation.
Oh, I understand
Carl
that.
doesn't even know at this point. We're all hold our breath saying, what's the state gonna do?
Well, I'm glad, a little Mike, that you guys are digging into stuff, and we're well aware of it. At least we, I mean, you can't be planning a super highway right now and be looking at a 10% increase. Tonight, I mean, we've given rebates here of $17, on a couple of them and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a whole lot of money to give back, but.
I mean, you have a report there of your, tax abatements total for the year. What do they add up to?
809,000.
How much?
809,000 for residents.
Peanuts. I mean, you put a wedge in the budget this year, $60,000 for abatements. Now, you might not realize you did it, but at town meeting, you said that the, trying to think of the term, it's not overflow, but it's the wedge that you put on when you do your,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, and you used a number of $60,000. If you're only using $800 of it, I mean, you've got a big wedge that you've added to the budget unknowingly, this year, and so it'll give you a little bit of protection. But those are the things that, we need to look at in addition to roads and whatnot. Yeah. I think I've also given Danielle and did you see it, the request for planning information for the.
I see that.
Yeah.
I don't know how this fire department thing is gonna go,
Yeah, we don't know.
you know, and what the people are gonna vote. I tell you what I'd like to see is if you vote this in, this is what your tax mill rate is gonna be, this is what your taxes, how much it's going up.
Well, we'll be able to tell you that, but I'd be very surprised if you're prepared to make a decision on that this year.
Right, right.
Oh,
And the,
but I think we gotta be looking farther ahead than 1 year,
yeah,
you know?
but anyway, what I'm saying is, we're probably not gonna meet for the next few weeks, pending getting some more data.